as they say when it comes to Nestle chocolate bars. It's crunch time, not only for Syracuse, but for high school. But I'll get to high school a little later. First, it's crunch time for the Orange, and they're kind of turning back into the Cardiac Cuse, because you know their games last week, both of them, they jump out to big leads and then have to hold on to win. First, against North Carolina State down in Raleigh, they jump out to a big lead against the Wolfpack and then have to hold on for dear life against the Wolfpack to win the game. And then Saturday, they jump out to a 29-point advantage on a day when they honored Boeheim. And I mean, Boeheim, that was such a great ceremony and everything. All the past Syracuse greats that came to honor him and everything. They jump out to a 29-point lead over Notre Dame and then have to hang on for dear life. It's like sometimes they got no defense against those three-point shooters. You know what? If we're able to make the NCAA tournament, because you know what? We may be slightly on the radar now for the NCAA tournament. But look, we got to have better defense out there on the perimeter to stop those three-point shots, because they were hitting them like they were coming out of style there in the second half. Come on, guys. You jump out there and have to only win by 3 points, and even then, you could have iced the game with a couple free throws. Can't even hit free throws. I mean, for God's sakes, guys, enough with this Cardiac Cuse bullshit. You know, we got 3 games left. We got Virginia Tech, we got Louisville, and then we got Clemson to close the season before the ACC tournament. These last 3 games in that tournament are our last chance to impress the NCAA tournament voters. You know, we got a couple of good quad 1 wins, but you know, that's what counts towards the NCAA tournament committee. And I mean, right now we're looking at the NIT, and I think, you know, Virginia Tech is a pretty good opponent. I mean, they're no easy task. Louisville, yeah, they might be under 500 again, but they've given a few teams fits this year. And of course, Clemson on their home court against Joe Girard. Maybe a little chance for revenge against Girard. But you know, this is the last chance we got to impress the voters. And Syracuse, you can't jump out to big leads and then hold on for dear life. You got to keep the pedal down. Can't have these Cardiac Cuse finishes. Because you know what? It's going to give me a heart attack. It's going to give other fans heart attacks. You know what? It's going to cause the NCAA tournament committee to think they can't hold leads. You know what? They're probably going to have to go in to have pacemakers installed. Oh, well. I mean, good wins, but come on. Enough with these Cardiac Cuse finishes. And I mean, that Syracuse lacrosse team right now doing 4-1, and they got their last 2 games of their homestand. They got Army, and then they got another team from North Carolina on Saturday, which I have to say is the high point of their season. Look that up in your funkin' wagnalls. But oh well, after this, a lot of their games are on the road, and we're going to see what Gary Gates' team is made of, whether Syracuse lacrosse is truly back. Keep it going, guys. Yeah, Maryland's pretty good. That was a tough loss. But we got to keep impressing voters. We got to keep impressing that, hey, Syracuse is back from the doldrums. We'll see. And I'm going to go from talking about Syracuse to Buffalo's Kappa situation. Yeah, in about a couple of weeks, Brandon Bean is going to have to start making some moves. Yes, the cap figures came out for this coming year. Buffalo is projected to be about $41 million over the cap. Bean is going to have to make some hard decisions. First, he did make some decision about Connor McGovern stretching his money out and everything, converting it. And we save about, $3 million. We only got $37 million to go. And he's probably going to do that about Josh Allen's cap number, maybe Stephon Diggs' number. But of course, there's a lot of talk that Stephon Diggs might be traded. We'll see. That would be a huge dead cap hit if Stephon Diggs is traded. And I mean, wherever Stephon Diggs goes, he's going to dig the competition. Plant the thing. Ting, ting, ding, into the vase. Oh well. Of course, Gabriel Davis is kind of resigned to the fact that he's probably moving on. Yeah, unless Buffalo does some fixing. Hey, Gabriel Davis is taking his game somewhere else. But there's times I've kind of thought, he'd still be good. But there's times I thought, man, yeah, maybe it's best he moves on. With this camp situation, I think it's best that Gabriel Davis definitely moves on. Although I'm going to miss saying Gabriel Davis. It isn't shocking he caught that. Get it? Gabriel Shocks. Oh well, maybe I'd be a little coney to say that. Well, the interesting thing Brandon Beane is one of the best and one of the shrewdest and savviest at working the camp, working the way to get Buffalo some good players. But I don't know if maybe this off-season he's bitten off more than he can chew, especially with those big contracts he gave to Von Miller. And the big contract to Josh Allen, yeah, he deserves to be one of the top paid. But you got to look at your situation there. Brandon Beane's got his work cut out for him. We'll see. Now I'm going to talk about the high schools. Section 5 is definitely underway. And it's been a pretty interesting Section 5 so far. And congratulations to both the Waterloo boys and Waterloo girls. Although the Waterloo boys season didn't pan out like it did. That was a heck of an opening win against Bath. But then they ran into the buzzsaw that is Hornell, losing 81-54. But I knew that would be a tall order. But you got to think that, hey, this is a bright future for the Waterloo boys, especially with Dylan Caraballo and others leading the team into next year. It's going to be a senior-laden team, and you know what happens. That's usually a team that goes far. We'll see how they do. And the Waterloo girls, what can you say? It was fun while it lasted. Yeah, they've had a hell of a last few years, including winning a state title. But when you lose that much talent, they're going to have some rebuilding issues. Yeah, they're a very young team, but an extremely bright future. But hey, Mynderse was ready for them. And I thought it was going to be a good close game. Who thought that my cousin Lauren McDermott and the Blue Devils would be a buzzsaw against the Waterloo girls? And speaking of Mynderse, both the boys and the girls are continuing on. But let me just say, good season, Waterloo girls. Your future looks bright. Keep it up. But for the Mynderse boys and the Mynderse girls, you continue on. A big win in their opening game against Midlakes, plus a great victory against World of Inquiry. The Mynderse boys will be playing for the B1 title against Hornell. But the thing is, Hornell is a buzzsaw. They are pretty much the top Class B team in the state. Who knows what happens in that Steuben County city? Whether it's the maple syrup, whether it's the chili, whatever, Hornell looks ready. And the same thing could be with the Mynderse girls if they get past Dansville. Dansville is a pretty good team of Mustangs, but you gotta watch out for those lady horses coming out of the hills of southern Livingston County. If we can get past Dansville, Hell, we could be playing Hornell for the title, for Class B, for the girls. Could be a little repeat of things, if you know what I mean. But keep it going, Blue Devils. Guys, gals, we're behind you. And last but not least, I'm going to talk about court storming. It's become a hot button topic, especially after what happened with Kyle Filipowski of Duke. He got taunted, and then he got knocked down, and he sprained his knee as a result of it. But it looks as though Filipowski's injury isn't serious. But you know, court storming has become too often, and you've seen stars get knocked around, stars get taunted, and Caitlin Clark, who's about to knock off a record that has stood for nearly 50 years by Pistol Pete Maravich, nearly have her season ended because she got hit in the face by a court storm. You know, it's good to have euphoria after your team wins, especially a big upset. But you know what? If you can, do not confront the opposing player or whatever. Keep your feelings to yourself. Yeah, you're for it. You say you're number one. But don't injure or don't hit other players. That is poor sportsmanship all around. It's like something I saw 10 years ago in a game between two Louisiana schools. A cheerleader for the winning team rubs it in and gets punched in the face. You know what? Stuff like that is ridiculous. And this court storming, it's got to stop. You got to watch it when those cumulonimbus clouds come forming over the court. And then the lightning hit. You got to watch it. Ben Franklin had his hair fall out because of that. Then he comes walking in and goes, "You know, I found it." Oh, whatever. Until next week and 1 week towards the NCAA tournament, I'm Ken Haas. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.